Hello friends, welcome to another video. Today's review is End of Days by Susan E. It is the third and final book of Penryn and the End of Days series. I like the exploded, damaged wings there on the cover with the same distressed background as the other ones, and I've got, let's see if I can do this, the whole trilogy. Not very good at this. I've got it all out of sync. Ooh. On 3. I got them from my public library. Always check out your libraries, guys. They are great. I'll read the back for you. After a daring escape from the Angels, Penryn and Raffi are on the run. They're both desperate to find a doctor who can reverse the twisted changes inflicted by the Angels on Raffi and on Penryn's sister. As they set off in search of answers, a startling revelation about Raffi's past unleashes dark forces that threaten them all. When the Angels release an apocalyptic nightmare onto humans, both sides are set on a path towards war. As unlikely alliances form and strategies shift, who will emerge victorious? Forced to pick sides in the fight for control of the earthly realm, Raffi and Penryn must choose their own kind or each other. So, they don't mention it in the first two synopses in the back about the doctor and Raffi and Penryn's sister. I was saying before how Penryn's sister, Paige, is a major player and how she's got a certain role to play, which is true. Ryan, are you trying to get in the sunlight? I'm gonna move a little bit so you can be in the sun, you weirdo. So she, at the beginning, in the first book, I talked how she was taken and the Angels experimented on her and tried to make her a weapon. She's only 7, mind you. They were experimenting on all sorts of children. But the doctor, one of the doctors involved, was a human doctor who was being forced into it. So he tried to make it so that it wasn't too bad. And at the very beginning of the series, I never mentioned that at the beginning either. If you haven't read the first books by now, you should before you watch this video. Because this is spoilers for like the beginning of the first book. One of the reasons why she teams up with Raffi in the first place to get her sister back is because the other Angels had attacked Raffi and cut off his wings. So she's helping him find a way to get his wings back, and he's helping her get her sister back. And that's how they teamed up originally. So, yeah, that's the part on the back where they're talking about the doctors. The other main players are all still the same. Penryn, Paige, her mom, Raffi, the two kind of iffy bad guys, Belial and Uriel, and then the main resistance fighters, Obi and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. There are a few other players, like a couple more Angels that help out Raffi and Penryn, and like a couple other like resistance fighters, but they're only like minor players. Right, what are you doing, honey? Do you want down? I don't know what he's doing. Do you want down? I want in the sun. I have to sit like this. Great descriptions. Great chemistry between Raffi and Penryn, and it only gets better in the third book. The first book was kind of mediocre, but it's at the beginning. It's a slow burn, very slow burn. It's still not a serious romance book. It is young adult. I'd still rate it 14 plus for age reading, also because of the violence in it. Not a ton of violence, but enough. It's not. It's definitely not totally PG. No major overly descriptive romantic scenes, though, just like making out and stuff like that. Still the post-apocalyptic with a different twist on why angels... Rye! I'm sorry, I don't know if you could have heard that in the background, but I could, and it was disturbing me. He's eating, but he's so into it, he's knocking his bowl. Still in first person from Penryn's point of view, the whole book. Can you be quieter? Who thought a cat could be so loud? If you've never owned a cat, you think I'm crazy. If you own cats, you know what I'm talking about. They are loud creatures. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there was any plot holes. There's a couple things that were in the books that they don't really mention again. Like I was saying, how they've done experiments on Penryn's sister Paige. So there's other kids out there that are like her, and they don't really talk about them at all, like, or what happened to them, or how they try and find them, anything like that at all. They don't. They just let it go. So, and the pace was pretty fast. I read this in less than a day, and it is thicker, just a little bit thicker than the first two, because I finished reading the second one, and I immediately picked this up and started reading it, and I stayed up to finish it last night. I really loved it. There were some twists thrown in, a few things that I was unsure what. I kind of predicted what would happen, but I was unsure exactly what they would do with it. So it was a little surprised, but not a complete surprise. Definitely emotions, happiness, a little bit of surprise, obviously, shock, the tingly good feelings for Raffi and Penryn finally realizing, because they are forbidden love. Angels are not supposed to mess with the daughters of men, which is what obviously they call women. There's men, and then there's the daughters of men, for in a biblical sense. They're not supposed to intermingle, right? And then Raffi finally decides he's just going to go with his feelings. Good for him, because we all knew it was going to happen. Yeah. I kind of liked the ending, and I was kind of wishing they did a little bit more. Everything gets wrapped up mostly. Like I said, there's a few loose ends, like with some of the monsters and the other children that they experimented on, and other experiments that they sort of don't even mention again. They do a tiny bit of a few weeks later kind of thing of how their lives are going, but it's still not completely, and I mean, it is post-apocalyptic, and technically you could write one more book about how the world is trying to come back together after the battle with the angels, but they don't. So there's some stuff left to the imagination and some stuff not. She ties up just enough and then leaves the rest up to you, which is good and bad. Like I said, I don't like it when they leave too much to the imagination. I like my things to be wrapped up neatly with a little bow. But besides that, I absolutely love the book. Couldn't put it down. Total page turner. 4 out of 5 stars. Exceeded expectations. Great writing. Great characters. Very moving, engaging plot. The whole series, 4 out of 5 stars for the same reasons. Highly, highly recommend. It's the dystopian with the twist on our beliefs of angels in general. I'm saying a lot right now. I said this in the other books too, if you haven't seen the other videos. I want to reread them eventually. Whether or not I get a chance to is, we'll see. I doubt it. And if I do reread them, I don't even know if I'll mention it in the video since I've already done a review video on them. But anyway, I recommend them. Check them out. Check out your library. And I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful, fantastic day.